Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome again to another painting tutorial. Today I decided to paint a road, like autumnal road painting, and I've done a lot of paintings like this in the past, whether they are tutorials or just for personal pleasure. So today I'll be using a 12 by 16 inch canvas board, and the colors that I'll be using for today's painting will be listed in the description box below as always. And I'll be mentioning them now. We've got primary blue, oxide black, lemon yellow, burnt sienna, vermilion. You can use your orange if you do have that color, yellow, ochre. So I'm gonna underpaint or maybe sketch first the painting so that you see where things are gonna go. I'll be using a fairly large canvas paintbrush for the underpainting so that I get a larger coverage in a few strokes. So for the sketch, I'll be using my burnt sienna. So the pathway will be, it's not a pathway, it's a road. So it should be 1/3 of your 12-inch by 16 canvas, uh, 12-inch by 16 canvas board. Okay, just draw first a straight line like that so that you identify where the horizon line is. And then I'm gonna go ahead and identify where the road is. So the road will be just, we're only doing um, perspective. We're not making like 3D objects. Okay, we're only doing 2D objects. However, visually, they should appear as if you're there, as if, it's not 2D. Okay, so that would be the road. Okay, and then it's going to go a little bit curvy right here and up to this point. Okay, so the perspective is like here. It's like you're going towards the road. All right. Or going inside a foresty part of the road. Right. So there will be lots and lots of trees around the area. So it will be really, really nice because I love painting forest and roads at the same time. So for the underpainting of the most big part of the canvas or the material, I'll be using some grayish bluish color. So for that, okay, I forgot to mention that I'll be using titanium white. I forgot to mention. We'll be using lots of titanium white. My titanium white looks like a bottle of milk. And I think I got myself a lot of titanium white, but it's fine. Okay, so I'll be mixing my titanium white plus black to get some gray color. I'll be mixing some blue with that to get some bluish grayish color right in the background. Okay, actually you can do whatever background color that you want, but this is a good background color or underpainting simply because it's a mixture of a color suggestion for the sky, for the trees, okay, and also for the shadows. So it's a good underpainting for this. Let's cover the whole area with this color. Okay, you can um, layer it one more time just for you to have a more solid color. And I feel like layering it. No, a lot, if not everything that you see right here and what we're doing will be covered with trees. But I still want this color to be there. The underpainting either uh, just hides, just hides in the painting. But when you really look at it closely, you will see it. It's not supposed to be uh, getting all the attention. It's the underpainting. You take it literally. It's the underpainting. It should be right under. You should not actually or immediately see it. Okay. You only see it if you try to look closely, try to look intently. Okay. All right. I think this is a good amount of paint already for the underpainting. And now I'm going to move on to underpainting the road and the sidewalk. So for the sidewalk, I think I'm going to get my burnt sienna plus black, but we still want the brown color to be more dominant. Okay. So I'm going to use this to darken this part. Okay, I want to add a little more black. And since we will be painting some forest or trees and some natural looking things for the forest, we'll be using our palette knives later. Okay. Now I'm going to go up, okay, like that, disregarding already the lines for the sketch that I did. All right. Okay. And then I'm gonna get my black, okay, plus the color blue that we had earlier. And I'm just gonna create some, okay, maybe I'm gonna lighten it a bit. I'm just gonna create some sort of markings right here near the horizon line. Trust me, this will make sense later. For now, let's just do these things as a preliminary approach to doing the more detailed part of the painting. Okay, just like that. All right. Now I'm gonna wash my brush out. Okay, now let's underpaint the road. For the road, I'll be using, again, the same color that we used for the sky. So I'm gonna get my white and blue. I didn't do it earlier simply because I want to do some separate or sectioning, okay? So that you see how, so that you make sense out of what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna get more black. Okay. Okay, and then more blue, perhaps. Okay, I'm gonna try this one out. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm gonna use this to cover the road area. You may ask, why is it blue? Okay, well, the road is blue not because it is blue, okay, not because the construction workers painted it blue or painted it that way, but because of the light. Okay, roads are usually grayish. The concrete and the cement and all, they're usually grayish and a little bit brownish. But because of the light, okay, they appear to be of a different color, but they're not actually that. Light changes the things that we see. All right, just like that. Okay, that's nice. That's very preliminary. Okay, now I'm gonna wash my brush out again. And using a smaller brush, let's create some what do you call this, tree trunk. So I'm gonna get my black, mix it with brown again, but this time it will be more dominantly black. We just want the brown color to be there, but we don't want it to be the most dominant color. So I'm gonna go ahead and create some. Okay. You may frame the painting by making some tree trunks on the margins. Okay. It's actually one way of framing your painting without actually doing some margins. Okay. I hope I'm making sense. So I'm just gonna create very random, sometimes a little bit wiggly, and there will be um, thicker tree trunks. Okay, and some thin and some diagonal. Okay, then just continue this. Again, I'm just combining my black and brown. Not really thinking too much when I do the tree trunks and the branches. Just do it. Be more spontaneous. These are just lines anyway. Again, I'm gonna frame this painting by creating larger trees on the margins. Okay, now, this is your time to create the branches, okay? Because when we do the foliage later, it will be very like more challenging for you to get into those tight spaces. But when you already do the tree branches, you've already done it. So all you have to do now are the foliage. If anything, You can only do some final touches, and it's not really a huge problem. It's just my way of doing things. Sometimes I do forget. Sometimes I do the foliage first, but that doesn't matter. If I remember, then I do it. There's really no rule. It's just my recommendation. Okay. All right. Just like that. Okay. And maybe I'm going to create some more tree trunks in the background just to make it more foresty looking. All right. Okay, now let's go back to the road. So what we're going to do is, so our pattern would be doing this part and then this part, go back to this part and this part. That would allow us time for the paint to dry, okay? Now I'm going to go back to the road part. So I'm going to lighten the grayish area. So I'm going to get, again, the blue color that we use for that. I'm going to add more white. And I'm going to start highlighting the farthest, the farmost area on the road. And I'm just going to use my fingers to apply the paint. I'm going to get more white this time because I want to create there you go. All right, that line. I'm going to do the same thing. Remember, we're doing perspective. So as you go near the viewer, this line should be thicker, just like that. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna wash my brush out. Let's use our vermilion already. I'm gonna use a smaller paintbrush. I'm gonna get my vermilion. Gonna mix it with yellow ochre, perhaps, just to make it a little more orangey. I'm gonna add white so that it's visible against my canvas. And in the same manner, I'm just gonna create some. Okay, when you reach this point, you're going to make it a little thicker. Okay. Okay. I think I made mine a little bit thick. Let's see if I can correct that. Of course, I can correct that. Um, I think I'm gonna have to correct that now. Wow. Okay. Well, the paint's still wet. Okay. Yeah, like that. I don't want it to be super thick. I had it like super thick. Let's correct that part. Okay. Now let's go back to orange. Okay. All right. Like that. We're going to lighten this area later because, again, perspective. The farther the distance is, or the farther an object is, the more like disappearing they look like, or they should appear, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for this air to dry. Now, okay, I'm gonna get my, again, my bluish, my gray color. I'm gonna add brown and white. Okay, and then let's highlight, okay, the trees. And highlight the right side like that. You don't have to highlight each and every um, tree trunks. Right here. Okay, and now we want to gray. Okay, that's too much. We want to gray some areas. Mm-hmm. That's too much. Making that natural look. Okay, like that. Okay, maybe I'm gonna add more trees right here just to fill in the space. Okay, like that. And now let's proceed to doing some foliage. I'm gonna get my yellow plus brown plus white. And then I'm gonna tap. Okay, just tap on some areas. Now this step is quite repetitive, so try to be patient. Okay, now I'm gonna add more brown to really give it some vibes. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get my brown a little bit darker, and I'm gonna apply that right here on the left side. I'm using some darker browns. I'm gonna get my orangey mix with brown. And uh, I'm gonna go like down here to suggest some grasses. Okay, I forgot to mention that I'll be using my green. I mean, you can see it from the screen that I have the green color, only that I forgot to get some on my palette. So I'm going to use my green. I'm going to mix it with burnt sienna to really tone down that color. And maybe I'm going to add a little bit of blue to that because I don't want that super green color. So there will be some greens. Okay, I'm going to get again my yellowish colors, but I am mixing it with brown. So just filling the gaps that you see. Okay, and I really want some orange colors as well. I'm gonna mix it with yellow so that it's a little bit bright. Right here. And then I want some sort of green color again. So just play with this. There's no particular way of distributing the colors. I'm gonna use my yellows. Okay, I'm gonna add white to my yellow so that it's like bright white. some highlights here. Later, I'll be using my fan brush, okay, just to give it some more different type of foliage. Right. Okay, and then some more greens and brown. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to using black, just black, because they are not really black foliage, but they are the depth. Okay, these are the shadows. These are the unlit um, foliage. These are also foliage, only that the light is not reaching them. Okay, now we're going to do that. Okay, maybe you can create some more. You can mix your brown and black to give it a different type of depth. Okay, I want some green. I'm gonna use my yellow ochre mixed with green. And maybe I'm gonna use more blue. I'm gonna mix it with the green so that it's like Turkish turquoise. Sorry, not Turkish. Turquoise green. Okay. Right here. Okay, now I'm gonna use another brush. Um, I'm gonna use my I call it foliage brush. You know, it's a very stiff, round brush. And it's really good for creating foliage because of the stiff bristles. I've been using this since 2017. Like, I bought this from Korea and I'm still using it. It's really great. It says here, Rubens utensil R-2. Okay, so okay, sorry, I had to turn off my microphone because another police car just passed by and it was making this noise that I really don't appreciate because whenever I am painting, they pass by. Okay, so I'm gonna use just the tip of the paintbrush and I'm gonna dip it onto my yellow and white and maybe add a little bit of brown so that it's yellowish brownish color, and I'm gonna highlight some areas that I see needs to be areas that need to be highlighted. Okay, I'm gonna dab onto my brown, more brown this time, and I'm gonna use this light brown color in some areas on the ground. I'm gonna dab onto my yellow. And then green. Okay, now before we proceed, I'm gonna go back to the tree trunks because I feel like I've covered so much of the tree trunks that some areas got fully covered already, like no remaining trace. There's no trace of tree trunks in there anymore, and we don't want that. So just fill in those missing areas. Okay, and now, okay, great. I'm gonna use this black color to make some depth on this part of the painting. And let's create some more, oops, some more highlights. And now, okay, I'm gonna get my yellow, okay, plus white, okay, and then I'm gonna use this color to somehow highlight some areas in the sky. To suggest brightness. Then browns. And then black. And we want to fill in those gaps that we see. Right here. Okay, now, okay, I'm gonna use my fan brush. Let's see. Okay, so I got my fan brush here. I'm gonna dab onto my yellow, plus white, and then brown, and a little bit of orange perhaps, and white. So I'm gonna use this color to create some more foliage right here. And then green this time. Okay. Ah, okay. Now let's go back to highlighting the road. I'm gonna use white. Okay, for some lights. Okay, I'm gonna get my vermilion, mix it with white, and somehow create that light. Okay, and I'm gonna use this color to highlight some areas. And black. Some more details on the ground. Like that. I love it. I love it. But I still need some more detailing. Okay, so I'm gonna get my blue. I'm gonna get my blue and white. And I'm just gonna use this to highlight even further this part. I'm gonna slightly touch on this area as well. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my black. And I'm gonna darken some parts on the road. I don't know if it's too dark for you to see it, but okay. Then I'm gonna get my what we call this, my white, because I think I painted over so much. Okay. And then using just the tip of my brush, I'm gonna apply some dots of white to emphasize more highlights. To emphasize that the sun is actually hitting this area. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of brown. And then some white and yellow. Okay, and then I'm gonna mute my green color. Okay, and I'm gonna use that down here. And then some browns. Okay, now I'm gonna use my brown to somewhat highlight or glaze this part of the forest. A little bit of that color. Okay, and some orange colors. I'm gonna glaze this part with that color. Okay, and then, oops. I'm gonna mix my yellow ochre plus my orange to highlight some parts of this roads, the road. I can't say the right word for that. I mean, I don't know how to say it. And then more highlights right here. And I want this to be enclosed. with some big tree trunks. And let's frame it. Okay. And then I'm gonna get my white, highlight. More white. More white right here on the centermost. It's not really center, but here where the narrowest point, narrowest perspective, is located. Okay, my canvas board is really, really absorbent. So I'll just keep on layering this part with some white and a little bit of blue. Okay, now we don't want this to be gone. Like the orange markings, we don't want it to be really, really gone. We just want it to be like fading away. Right. Let me see it. Okay, I find some areas a little bit weird. So I'm gonna correct that. Okay. Feel like it should be straighter. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay, like this. Okay, nice. Just like that. And it should continue all the way like that. Hmm. Okay. Now I'm gonna get my black and I'm just gonna slightly touch on this part. Just go around that area. Okay, like that. Also here, like that. Oops. Let's see. Okay. Let me just fix this part because right, that's nice. I really like this one. Now, if this area is almost dry, we can glaze over that, okay? So for the glazing part, I'm just gonna use a clean brush. I'm gonna wet it and then dab onto my white, okay? Make sure that it's watery, okay? And make sure that it's already dry before we do this next step. So I'm gonna just make some glazing using watered down white, and this will give it some light effects around this area. Again, I'm just gonna touch right here. Let's see. Okay, I like it. So this bright light, I'm gonna apply a little bit of greeny colors. I mentioned that we'll be using our palette knife, but I don't see the need to use it anymore. Okay. I'm gonna use again my white with yellow. Let's create some what they call this, some sun rays. But let's see. I love it. I love this one. And I think I'm gonna sign this now. This is nice. I love it. Or maybe I can correct a bit this part because it's gone now. Just a little bit of correcting. Oops, sorry. Let's see. And then bring it back. All right, I like this. So I think I'm going to sign this now. I like it. What do you think? Or maybe I should add a little more. Some more branches that have lost uh because of my too much glazing. Just bring them back. Okay, like that. Okay, and I'm gonna use my white. Add some more lights, light effects. Okay, I'm gonna sign right here. Okay, we're finished. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you paint along with me. If you like this video, let me know in the comment section below. If you're painting along with me, let me know in the comment section below as well. And see you in my next one. Have a great day, guys. Have a great week ahead of you. See you in my next one. Bye. Mhm. Love you.